6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join us on our YouTube page and continue to send your prayer requests to prayer@heartwoodrefuge.org.
Sorry.
And kicks us overflow. And of course, please keep liking, following,
Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, Sandra. This is my mic.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. We can't hear you just yet, so let's.
It wasn't turned on.
Oh.
Got to turn it on? Got to plug it in? Okay.
No, we're still not hearing.
Okay.
Oh, now I do.
You good? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's good? Okay. All right. What a wonderful day. And we are entering into our mindfulness studies. We're going to talk about the responsibility now of everyone to pursue their own scholarship and to do the necessary research and practice that allows them to be proficient in their posturing and their sitting in mindfulness, their walking in mindfulness, their study of mindfulness, so that they can now have deeper experiences that will benefit their just relationships in everyday life. There are there's a couple of things that I'd like to emphasize concerning the studying of mindfulness. So the first thing is, now that we are at a space of deeper study, deeper going inside and addressing the experiences from a deeper point of view, the first thing I'd like to repeat is the promise of the Buddha, who says, if anyone should develop these four foundations of mindfulness in such a way, for 7 years, 1 or 2 results could be expected from him, either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-returning. Let alone 7 years, if anyone should develop these four foundations of mindfulness in such a way, for 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 1 or 2 results could be expected of him, either final knowledge here and now, and if there's a trace of clinging left, non-returning. So he's telling us that the more we put into this, the more we'll get out of it. And what's your responsibility? What is the responsibility of the practitioner to start to experience the benefit of deeper practice, of a sitting or standing or walking or lying down that will bring peace and bring quiet to your everyday existence. There's a responsibility that I will ask you to assume if you haven't already. Because what I see lots of times is that once we have entered into our study of mindfulness and we have gotten to the place where mindfulness develops into concentration and into light and form and the meters, that there doesn't seem to be a willingness to assume the responsibility of that practice, to make sure that each and every one of you performs your practice every day and pursues the reasons for small successes or no successes. In other words, we've talked about nimitas, or light and form, and how these are experienced through concentration. And therefore, through concentration, through the development of concentration, you will be able to experience deeper and deeper insights to your sittings, to your practice. And I want you to, if you have pencil and paper? Do you? Does everyone have pencil and paper? Does anyone have pencil and paper?
Yes.
Okay, one person. No, that's great. That's great. Sutta 128. This is a sutta where the Buddha was speaking to some disciples in a park after he had to visit another community that was arguing and fussing and being in disharmony and discord. And the conversation went something like this: that after asking this small community of bhikkhus, were they comfortable, were they getting along well, because that was the foremost thing on his mind, because he had just left a community that was arguing and bickering. And they assured him that they were getting along fine, and that it was a fantastic community, and they were very happy with the company of each other. And then they were asked, how is their meditation coming along? And what they indicated to the Buddha was that they were doing their practice. They were practicing consciously and deeply and committedly, but they were still losing the ability to hold the metta, to hold the light, to hold the back, to be in the form, to go deeper in concentration. And he told them, he said, well, the burden is on you. He says, now you know how to do this. The burden is on you, that what you have to do when you lose your concentration, when you lose your connectedness with concentration, deeper layers of concentration, that you should ask yourself the questions as to why you're losing this. In other words, what I experience most often is that groups of people or individuals will begin to achieve the ability to be still enough to get to the space of light and form, to experience that. But when it disappears, they assume, well, that's where they stop for the day or the week even. And what the Buddha advised these bhikkhus in Sutta 128 is that that's when you ask the question, why did this happen? Not, oh, well, I'll do it again tomorrow and see how far I get. Do you follow what I'm saying to you? Okay. So it is our responsibility, therefore, that once we get to the point where we go as deep as we can go, we stay as long as we determine to stay, or we don't stay as long as we would like to stay. That it is up to each and every one of us individually to ask ourselves the question, why not? To investigate, why not? And Sutta 128 offers us self-reflection. It says, ask yourself these questions, and you will begin to discern, have that discernment, that inner discernment that allows you to know what arose in you that caused you to take your attention off of your breathing or off of your consciousness or off of whatever item, whatever indicator you're using to develop that deeper concentration. Ask yourself this question: why did I lose it? Why did it go away? It's not, and what that's telling us is that this is not punishment for anything that we haven't done or might have done before in the past. This is a roadmap that says if you've lost it because of this, here's what you work on. To be able to hold the concentrated space longer, to be able to go to deeper levels of concentration. This is what is missing. This is what happened. Be able to understand that so that you will not just go in and go to the same place and drop out, but that you will be able to remedy that and strengthen that factor so that you will be able to access deeper and deeper states of meditation, of concentration, of mindfulness, so that you will, in this day and time with all of this distraction. And it's interesting because, they were going through the same thing then. I mean, we might find it incredibly naive that what we experience in today, no one experienced before us. But the world has always turned around and we've always been doing the same thing over and over again. The same problems, the same dilemmas, the same conflicts, the same disappointments. And just ask yourself these questions. So I'm not going to go over the questions. I'm sure that most of you probably have the book, the Majjhima Nikaya, so you can just look in your book, in your source material for the reasons why we drop out of meditation, the different reasons, and so that we can determine which of these is the weak point for each of us as individuals, and that we can work on that, strengthen that, make our concentration deeper. If you don't have a Majjhima Nikaya, then insight, what is
access
it?
to
Access to insight, right, is a great web location for finding study material, and then using that. It's great if you have the inclination and the financial ability to go buy your own resources and have them on your bookshelf. But if you don't, that's okay. Just go to Access to Insight and pull it up, 128, and that will give you the questions you need to ask yourself as to determining why you are dropping out of deeper states of meditation and what you have to do or what you can do in order to stay there longer. To use the determinant to stay in deeper states of meditation as long as you would like to before you come up. The process at this point is once you get to the limita, the sight and sound, the sound and form and light, that you begin to develop the process or the ability to determine how long you're going to stay in and when you're going to come out. Practicing going straight back in again and sitting for as long as you determine you want to sit and then come out, going back in again. Once you attain the ability to hold in that first jhana and coming in and going out at will, if you will, or at your determinant, if you will, that then you begin to access the next jhana, the second jhana. Do the same thing with that, to strengthen going in and coming out where you determine you want to go and where you determine you want to hold that state of concentration. And keep working with those things, going up the ladder or going down the ladder to deeper and deeper states of concentration. You want to be able to eventually access a state at will, where you don't have to sit for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes before you start to get some success in it. That as soon as you sit down on your cushion or sit up in your bed, you can drop as deep as you like to drop, hold it for as long as you want to hold it, and then finish when you have to go to work or when you have to go fix breakfast for the kids or your loved ones. And that anytime during the day when you have the opportunity that you can sit, stand, walk, engage in any activity with mindfulness and deepness. And you will be surprised how even your relationship with reality will be, and how peaceful your coexistence with everyone around you, whether they agree with you or whether you agree with them or not. That equilibrium that occurs, that balance that occurs, that allows us to be at peace with anything that goes on. And again, this is the whole concept of the whole basis for being mindful, that you are able to be at peace and be at stillness no matter what's going on, whether it's good or whether it's bad, because it's just something that will come and go. And that ability to be mindful, that ability to be aware of the temporary existence of all conditioned things allows us to stay in a stabilized mind state, so that we will know that just as this came, this will go, this too shall pass, and you can just keep your state of mind and not get all blown up behind politics or religion or anything else that might come up during the day. 128. Be committed, start to be committed to using this tool every day as you go through your day, go through your routine. Use this process of mindfulness every day to keep you in that state where you will accept in a very peaceful and kind way everything that comes up, that there's nothing special, there's nothing that is so detrimental that it'll just cause me to lose my head and lose my mind and lose my peace. That the ability to hold on to that peace, hold on to that stillness, no matter what anyone else's intent is, no matter what's going on, no matter what or who is protesting this week, no matter who got shot or didn't get shot this week, that you are able to do the work that you want to do in the world without being rattled by the ignorance and the insensitivity of others who live in the world with you. And you will find that you will be able to get much more done with a lot less noise and a lot less hollering and screaming. So, has anyone here begun to enjoy the fruits of concentration, deeper states of concentration. Has anyone here seen light and form?
But I don't have it currently.
Okay, what did you say, Toby?
I have in the past, but it's not with me currently.
Okay, and so, as I said before, what's then your first go-to?
My mind has been disturbed. How did this come to be that I'm in a state to where I can't access the concentration that I once was able to access?
Okay, now, right off the bat, the first thing is, when I ask myself, why haven't I accessed the state of deep concentration that I want, I've got to also ask myself, why am I frustrated why am I frustrated about getting what it is that I got? Remember, one of the reasons that we're studying mindfulness is developing and practicing to develop the ability to be okay with, to accept whatever it is that is present with me right now. Right?
Not there yet.
Okay, I hear you. But that only takes the flip of a switch. To say I'm going to work on something isn't hard at all because I haven't started working on it yet. But I've started to issue prepare the ground for doing that. I've decided to make a commitment that I won't accept the fact that every time I sit down now on my cushion or, like I said, sit up in my bed if it's early in the morning or late at night, that I want to spend some time in concentration. But I can't because I lose my concentration, I lose my focus, I get distracted. So the first thing I've got to do is to make sure that I'm not disturbing my own peace with my desires, okay? So ask yourself, am I carrying expectations in with me when I start my meditation? Just ask yourself that question. And since you're asking the knower, you're trying to go as deep as you can inside to ask the knower why it is that I'm losing my concentration. And then just sit and breathe. Do you use breathing as your go-to spot?
Object of meditation.
Okay, all right. Then go to your breath and sit quietly and wait for the answer. The answer's going to come. Ask and you shall receive. So the answer's going to come if you don't get frustrated and get anxious about it not coming as soon as you want it to, right?
The answers come for me, and the frustration is where I need to go. Is going back to the beginning to build a firmer foundation. The answer that I got was that I don't have as firm a foundation as I need to continue.
All right, so why do we get better?
Go back?
We practice more.
Oh, okay.
Make sense? All right. If anything that I want to do, whether it's multiplication tables or whether it's basketball or whether it's Dharma practice, the thing that makes me get better is practicing it more. So if I find that my once a day or my 3 times a day is not enough to take me where I want to go, and I've addressed all of those basic questions like, well, am I pushing myself too hard? Am I being inconsiderate to myself? Am I asking myself to give me more than myself is capable of giving me? if I ask all of those questions and the answer is no, then one of the situations that I can address is, am I practicing enough? And maybe I'm not practicing enough. So I decide, or I see, or I clock, or I record how much practice am I putting in every day, not just on days when there's Dharma talks, but on days when there's not. When it's just me and the cushion, when there's nobody else around. Am I sitting enough to develop those deeper states, to develop those states of concentration? Okay? So work with that and see where it takes you. If it doesn't take you anywhere, then ask the question again, or ask it openly so that you will get a different, or maybe finger pointing in a different direction. But continually ask yourself. Don't accept. Everyone here deserves peace. Everyone here deserves kindness and love from themselves if they don't get it from anybody else. So why is it? There's a reason, because it's happening. Nobody deserves chaos and confusion every day. Okay? So, yeah, it's good. Right. Anyone else?
I have, Venerable.
You have?
Did you ask the question?
Yes.
Who has experienced the fruit of concentration practice?
Yeah, who's experiencing lighter form? You say you have?
Yeah.
All right. Can you keep it?
I'm very much with Toka, and
Okay.
everything you said to her applied to me as well.
Okay.
So thank you, Toka, for speaking up on that.
All right. Wonderful. And are you also saying that you too didn't bother with following up and asking yourself why these things are happening?
I did follow up and ask, and it's the exact same thing. It's one is I need to practice more, more frequently, and two that I need to go back, because what I noticed is the things that I was doing when I was reaping the benefits of the concentration practice, I wasn't doing as much anymore, but I was adding a lot more activity to.
You mean outside activity?
Yeah, yeah.
Things to do, places to go?
Right.
Okay.
And so there was an imbalance. And so I need to go back. And so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Great. Or did you know whether you've gone to the second level, second jhana? Or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Or
so.
no, that I haven't.
Okay, so you've experienced light and form, but you haven't. But have you experienced absorption yet?
Correct.
You haven't, or you have?
I haven't.
Okay, you have. Perhaps it's because you're impatient, that you're rushing before it's time. You're taking the cake out the oven before it's time. It works best when you stay in the development stage, when you stay in the stage where you are present with light and form, but you still are staying with your object of meditation. You're not transferring off to light and form, but you're staying with the object, the item that got you to that point. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I sharing it well, clear enough for you?
That makes perfect sense.
Okay. You want to wait until the Nimitta invites you into the center. As long as it's moving around, as long as you've got this wafting and waving going on, this movement of the light and form, you just keep watching. What are you doing? Watching your breath or?
Yeah, breath.
Okay. You just keep breathing. You just keep watching your breath. Don't go to that. You know it's there because you can catch glimpses out of the corner of your eye, or maybe right in front of you, that's coming and going, it's moving and shifting around. It might even just be not a lot of shifting. It might be just going from a square to a triangle. But the point is, as long as the Nimitta is moving, as long as it hasn't settled down and become stationary and stable, stay with your breath. When this settles down, when that stops moving around, when that invites you into its center, then turn your attention from your breathing to the center of the Nimitta. This is where a lot of people become afraid, because this is where you give up the self. Up until this point, it's you, doing this. And there's a clear distinction between you and this. But one of the guide points, if you will, is the fact that the process is called absorption. And what you feel is a pulling into the center of the Nimitta. And you know that it's not you that's propelling this. You know it's not you that's pushing this, or that's even encouraging this. And so it gets scary because you are losing control. You are no longer in control of the situation. You feel that you are losing your state of self. But that's where the fun begins. Right? I mean, just think how crazy we've been after all of these years. So, losing the craziness is nothing. It's a welcome. So, enjoy it. Don't hesitate, don't be afraid. Just, again, when it stabilizes, when it stops moving, go to the center. Not to the edges, but to the center. And enjoy it. Right?
Thank you.
Yes.
Venerable, I'm a long time practitioner of meditation, but I've never done it in the context of the fruits of concentration.
All right.
And what I've noticed in my experience is that I reach different levels. I just don't have names for them. And reaching those different levels depends very much on time. It seems that we're talking a lot about time. Some days I will reach a really deep level in a short amount of time, and some days I can't even reach the next level if I sit for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it also is hard in daily life to give an open-ended sitting, which I find necessary, to not say, I only have 20 minutes to sit because then I've got to do this other chore, or as you were saying, the necessities of life.
Mm-hmm.
But if possible, in my own experience, to have it as open-ended as possible, even if sometimes it doesn't take that amount of time, that's where I find a lot of success. when time is no longer actually a part of the equation.
Well, what I would recommend and suggest that you entertain, that you practice, is not using time as a constraint, but using time as an instrument of developing the ability to set intention. Think about when you, and I don't know whether you've done this or not, but when you said to yourself, I want to get up at 5:30. And you don't set the clock, or you forgot your clock, or the clock is broken, but you say, I need to get up at 5:30 because the workshop starts at 6. And you have those opportunities or those occurrences when you can set that predetermined state, and when you find, boom, your eyes pop open at 6, and there you are. So what you're doing is developing that same ability to predetermine when you go in and when you come out. It's not that I'm coming out because I got something else to do and I really don't want to do that, but it's just to practice coming in and going out, coming in and going out. When you are able, and one of the reasons for learning what state of concentration, what level of concentration you're in, is so that you'll know where you're going. It's like saying, well, I don't know the neighborhood, but I'll just drop in right here. Now, I don't know where they live. I don't know if they live on this block or the next block or the next block. So when you go to visit someplace specific, you try to find out as much as you can about how to get there and how to know, well, okay, you go past the red barn and you'll see a goat. And then once you pass the goat, that's where Farmer Brown is. So you're using all of the information at your disposal so that you will go out understanding where it is you've been, so that you can determine how to get back there again, or how to even go further deeper. So again, don't look at it as a restriction. Just look at it as an indicator. Oh, I've been there. Oh, I've been there. Oh, I've been there. Haven't been there. And that seems like the next place linearly to go. Okay. And the exercises are simply designed to allow us to access those places and enter into and out of those places at will. There are lots of times when we will find that we need to be able to identify just where we are and where we need to go. Specifically in cases of emergency, like a plane falling out the sky. And that's when you gotta get to a place of deeper awareness so that you're not thinking about the mountain.
Do people ever do formless meditation where they enter the meditation without any specific goal?
I'm sure there is. But right now we're talking about developing this level of concentration, this foundation of mindfulness that we can use to develop to a more refined degree our ability to have an experience without all of the without the without the disturbances of external phenomena. It's about how can I be in this, how can I access these states without disturbance from anything outside of these states? There is this experience of being a part of the process and not just being something incidental to the process. Okay? Makes sense? Good.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself. All right. Do we have any people on the network?
Looks like, yeah, someone else did answer them, so, right now, no.
So we have people there that just don't have questions.
Oh, yeah, we have a nice amount of people today.
Yeah, I thought Angela was raising her hand, but I guess not. Sorry, Angela.
Okay. All right. So if they don't raise their hands, that means they have no questions. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's wonderful. So, there's no questions from anyone here.
I have a comment.
Sure.
I think from experience, it's good to not let the feeling that you have to start over again every time be a disturbance to you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if in a sense you do have to follow some mental routine or specifically apply yourself to a series of disciplines, to not let that be too frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Not that just to have the sense like, oh, I lost it. Where is it? How can I get back to it?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We do have 2 hands up now.
All right.
Nancy, you can go first, and then Josh.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is, for all the practice I've been doing, I seem to stay at kind of the same level with my nimitta, not inviting me to a center. But the state that I go to relatively quickly when I sit is something I never experienced before, but I like it. But it's basically, I just feel like I'm not in my body at all. I'm not really, there feels to be something that's not my body. And I don't know really how to explain it. And even with an eye mask on, and if I gather energy and put it in, I actually can see the shadow of my body moving. And that was unique to me. I don't know but it only happens when I'm so.
We lost your sound for a minute.
So
when that's where we lost you.
Oh, it happens just when I'm sitting on my cushion, or if I'm basically in my Kayu yoga, especially after that when I do my sit. And it's just a very different feeling where external environmental things just seem to fall away. And but I really don't have any idea, even with reading the books, where I'm going or what feeling pulled to the center would be like. And I don't set an intention before I sit, other than to concentrate on my breath. And that's something I've wondered, do people set an intention before a sit to think about a certain problem or topic?
No, the only intention that I recommend is the one that allows me to come out when I want to and go in when I want to.
Okay.
It's not a determination about goal orientation.
Okay, so it's not to solve anything.
No, not to solve anything. And that experience of losing oneself is good, because you are dropping the concept or the awareness of a person or selfhood that is doing this meditation. You are experiencing or entering that space where there's no you or self engaged in the process. So you've gone behind the cushion, not behind the cushion, but behind the curtain, into something a little more authentic and real than who you or who we think we might be in our kitchen. Okay. All right. How's your daughter?
Thank you. She's fine. We actually have big news. Our daughter in Durham is expecting a baby. We're going to be grandparents in September.
Oh, you're too young to be grandparents.
We're 68 this month.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to the family. And
thank you.
That's cool.
Thanks.
So Josh had a question next?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Josh?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon to you.
Thanks. Nice to see everyone. It's been a very helpful talk this afternoon. I was wondering if you might, Venerable, if you might discuss that term nimitta a little bit more.
It's hard to do that from this point of view because everyone has something different going on. In other words, the nimitta is a part of your conscious imprint, if you will. And what one person might see, experience in their meditation practice is not necessarily the same thing that everyone else in the same class will see. If they're all at that level of success, if you so, that will present some type of imaging as instead of just blackness or grayness, that depending upon what's on our mind at that time will contribute to the image that we finally access or we finally see. So it's hard for me to, that's one reason why I don't mention I don't talk about what it is you will see, except saying that you will see something. And it can be anything from a cloud of smoke to a bright light like the sun or the moon. But it depends upon the person. So it's very difficult to expand or to predict that this group of people will see this. But you will go from that grayness, that darkness that happens when you shut your eyes for the first time and go to take yourself inside. And by sitting there and breathing or by sitting there contemplating something, being focused on one item, one thing, one point, that there will be something that will begin to develop to inform you that you are you're getting close to your mind conscious being settled and being still. That's what it does. That's what the function of it is. It's saying you are getting close to a concentrated mind. Your mind is becoming still. You are developing or you are experiencing the ability to see your mind. And it is becoming stiller and stiller and stiller. And as I was sharing with some of the people here, you will get a signal, you will get an authorization from mind that it is ready to accept you. And that's when you will put your attention, take your attention off of your meditation object, which might be the breath, or it might be the body, or it might be feeling, or it might be whatever. And you will take your attention off of that and put it right in the center of the nimitta. Whatever that is for you. So, that was a good question. And as you go through life, don't be a meditation teacher that tells other people what they're going to see. Because it depends upon what's in their own mind, how their own mind is constructed, and the materials that were used to build that over their lifetime, or many lifetimes. You're thinking.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'd like to get back to Dharma G's
Remark.
point. No, and I'm just saying, I agree with that, but I would also agree with the fact that I would be mindful that I am reaching out for something. I am not accepting things as they are. So I am not mindful. Remember, my responsibility is to coexist with these items, whether they're mind items or body items or feeling items. And I'm saying I'm going to sit here with these things or with this one thing or with these many things if I have many apparitions in my mind. But I'm not going to concern myself. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to have preferences as to one over the other. That a part of my dynamic that I'm developing is the ability to be okay with what shows up. You know, and I don't, you know, I may not see your moon and I might not see Tokram's sun, but I'm not going to get anxious about that. I'm not going to feel that they had a better meditation. You know, sometimes when you go to classes, meditation classes, and, you know, they'll start to share what it is that they experience, man, and they see green monkey Buddhas and gods and, you know, all kinds of fantastic stuff. You know, volcanoes. It's like, well, gee, I wish I was, you don't say anything because, you know, all you saw was this little kind of light bouncing around inside your skull, you know. But a part of what we are developing is the ability to be okay with what is. And not to feel the necessity to elaborate, to make it something grander and bigger than smarter or more profound than what is. And most of you guys have been, most of us, I won't say you guys, but most of us have been trying to work on developing some experiences with what we call meditation. We spent enough time on the road, on the journey, to hear enough stories that go, gee, why can't I have that experience? You know, that rainbows and, you know, flying monkeys and things. So, I think the biggest thing that we're learning is to be happy, to be at peace with whatever may or may not be present in consciousness with us, that's traveling along with us. Our knower, if you will, or our companion. That companion is not your soul, it's not your spirit, so don't let that come into your head. But it's just company. And as Travis said, I think Travis said this, and you say you lost yourself. Who lost? You felt like you lost yourself in meditation and in mindfulness?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, well, I'll take that back. Travis didn't say that, y'all. All right. Ask the question. If you're not experiencing what you think you should experience at this time in your practice more. Get better. This is not about frustration. This is not about punishment. It's just about saying, if this is what you want and you enjoy the fruits of this, then this is with love. To get better at this, you have to practice more. You have to practice well, and you have to practice more. And that's not punishment. That's a gift. Because there's a whole lot of people out here running around wishing that they had a practice, that they're crazy, that they're being, the stuff that's going on in the world, they don't know how to handle it. They wish they had an answer. And usually most of them are looking for a solution, and there are not just one solution. There's many solutions to all of the problems. From the problems we're having here with systemic racism to the viruses in India and in other places around the globe. So it's there, it's everybody's concern. So it's about being able to wake up in the morning and finding out that there's a virus outside in your neighborhood and being at peace with that. Not doing anything about it, but being at peace while you're doing something about it. Not freaking out about it. Not thinking it's a curse. We're having some good conversation and dialogue in this country right now because of things that have happened. Forever. But remember, this teaching tells us that nothing is forever. And now we're, as opposed to the big lie thing, now we got people talking about the big lie. They weren't talking about it before. They weren't being bothered by it before. But now they're talking about it. Now they're asking questions about it. Now they're wondering if they can shift the conversation around so that there won't be so much of this big lie stuff, but that we will look at the people who are truly crazy and realize that, well, they're just crazy. It's not a big lie. They're just crazy. And we'll be able to go along and be okay and give them blessings too. Give them peace and blessings too. There's somebody's son and somebody's daughter, somebody's mama. So love them as you love yourself. Be at peace with everybody. And be thankful that you found a practice that works for you and brings you peace and continues to help us interact with so many wise and wonderful people right here. We didn't know each other when we were 28. Well, maybe some of you did, because some of you are just 29 now, right? But for the most part, we didn't know each other. And now we do, and that's a gift. So thank you so much. We'll see you soon. We lost our people up there?
No, it just, the screen looks different.
Okay, so we want to say goodbye to everybody up there. All right, love you all. All right, thank you so much. We'll see you soon. There they are. All right. All right.
Thank you, Venerable Panadipa.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. Thank all of you guys for the work you do. And we will see you soon. Promise. All right. Be safe. Hug somebody. Well, with your mask on.